at the end of the day, if you're willing to do whatever it takes and have faith and just trust the process, nothing should get in your way.
One of the biggest things we like to do on this show, we like to give viewers the opportunity to kind of step into your shoes and understand what your mindset was like and the trials and your vision was like, because 99% of the people out there have absolutely no idea what you went through.
All my overdoses and all my life near-death experiences, why am I still here? I was just so lonely at the time. I had people around me usually. The lifestyle just was taking a toll on me, and I told him, I said, I'm probably gonna do the shot right now. I want to end my life. Things aren't really looking up for me. I don't have no purpose.
Yeah, I've heard the word a lot in addiction, like surrender, right? And like that's a big word that you guys use, and that you have to just completely surrender your life.
Until I started getting spiritual and praying and asking God, I ain't gonna ask you for nothing no more, but I need some help. Teach me.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the Philanthropic podcast. We are stoked for today's episode. We've got Will Bishop Bell on the podcast with us today. He's got an awesome story, and can't wait for you guys to hear it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We're excited to have you on. And I just want to jump right in, right? I've been itching to kind of get to know you and hear your story. I've seen snips of other podcasts and different things you've been on, and I just want our viewers to kind of hear it raw and real today, and jump right in. So I kind of just want to start from the beginning, right? I love viewers to kind of understand where you came from, what your life was like leading into maybe the struggle, right? And how you overcame that. But let's just go to the beginning. I'm going to let you narrate your story, but who was Will, growing up, day one?
Yeah, he was a trouble kid. No. Born North Carolina. Didn't come from a broken family. Mostly raised by my father and my grandmother. Don't know my mom. Tossed around. My dad was in the military. Tossed around from my grandma's back to my dad's, things like that. But early on in my childhood, my dad remarried and went to Las Vegas. It flew me out from Miami, and I show up and I got two brothers and a mom. And I just assumed that this lady's my mom, right? I was just so little at the time, I didn't comprehend it. And that went on. I just kind of just integrated right into it. And background, my father's a drinker, so there's a little bit of abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse. Really wasn't, there's some role model things that he had that I really admire, but for the most part, it was always chaotic. He was God. It was his way. If I want to be a man, I need to act like a man. Those types of things were always coming at me. And so I learned how to adapt real quickly whenever I come home from school. And but as years progressed, I had brothers. I never really been close to anybody. I got a little bit of family that lives up here. Always around people who have brothers and moms, and was doing school activities and doing sports and stuff like that. And that really wasn't part of my journey. I tried sports and stuff, but at a young age, I got in the juvenile system, and they weren't having it. And so, long story short, years later, my dad ended up getting a divorce. He broke his back. Got a divorce. My two brothers and my mom went back out to Florida. I was there to stay helping my dad. His drinking became heavier. He started taking pills, things like that. But it was always like maintained. I see it full circle now, but in the moment, I was just thinking that he's just doing what he needs to do, and it was just normal.
So psychologically for you, that was just normal life, right? That's kind of how you processed it. Did you see yourself like, oh, that's probably what my life's going to be like? Was that anything you looked at, or did you kind of see the barrier there of like, oh, like my life's going to be different?
Yeah, I thought for sure that my life would be different, because he would get so drunk, and then we would be driving, and I would always hand him beers, and I always watched Cops. That was like his favorite show.
Okay.
So I knew we were doing stuff we shouldn't be doing. And my dad is really wild, and we'd be driving, and I'd be so scared, crying, thinking that we're going to get in a crash or something like that or whatever. And his mentality is just, shove my feelings up my, and just and act as if. And that was hard on me then. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was a scared little boy looking back. And there'd be times where, which to tie into my story of probably how I had 20 years of destruction is, and relationship issues and codependency issues. My dad would I remember vividly, he would go inside gas stations, and I would be crying. I'd be sitting in the truck. He's just going in and getting beer and coming back out. He's done it a million times. But every single time, I always thought he'd just go out the back door and never show back up. And thinking back on it, it's probably just me not knowing who my real mom was, and my mom and brothers leaving, because it wasn't long after that I was going through pictures, and I asked my grandmother, who's this lady in this picture holding this baby? And she's like, oh, that's your mom. And that's when it clicked.
Yeah.
I've been lied to this whole time. I don't think that. I didn't really voice it. She's like, oh, I thought you knew. I didn't ask questions because I'm to be seen and not heard, just how being raised. And so that was probably a pivotal moment in the direction of I can't trust nobody, and especially my family and stuff like that. What other secrets are they keeping? And so that's when I started acting out, making bad decisions, stealing, not taking school seriously.
Yeah.
Not listening to what anybody had to say. I always was told, make good choices by my grandmother. Don't do what your dad does,
Yeah.
And she would always voice that she's always going to take care of me and things are going to go if I just make good choices. But I wasn't hearing it at the time.
Yeah.
And so.
At what age was that? Did you kind of feel like you started spiraling in that direction?
About 12, 13 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's really set in, I think.
Yeah.
I think it happened earlier, but I just didn't know how to move the right way in order to be able to control my feelings or whatever, that I just went with whatever felt good.
Yeah. And this was in North Carolina.
This was in Las Vegas.
This was in Vegas, you said.
Vegas,
okay, now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, and from there, I had a kid at a really young age, 14 years old.
Wow.
I don't know for sure. I know my second daughter's my daughter because they did a paternity test. I was still tripping on that. But when they file for state help, they do that. But had a girl at a young age, was playing sports. Always wanted to be a dad. Didn't know how dad show up. Dad was just like always the person that that's the man of the house. He does what he wants, and the woman's supposed to just take care of the kids and stuff. And so I just did my thing, and ended up catching a charge when I was 18. And mind you, I'm 38 years old now. I never had a job before I went to the Other Side Academy. And so all this time, I never worked. I never done anything like that. I'm just living off my kid's mom. And at 18, I went to prison for the first time. Joined a gang at a young age. Everything when I was sitting with my dad, me being a boy growing up and not knowing any direction, MTV and VH1 was popping. Everybody watching music videos, cars, women, drugs, money. They get attention. They got their buddies. I never had anything like that. And so it was outside my window. And I was just itching for something. My dad wasn't doing it. My grandma was working. My grandma ended up flying out from Florida to be able to help take care of me because he wasn't able to. And so that's why I saw attention, and my self-worth is through other things and people. And so drugs, crime, gangs, all that stuff was just a temporary fix in the moment, but it felt like it would last forever. I would hear people, counselors would tell me, hey, this ain't good. This is what it's going to turn out to be. But I wasn't believing nobody. I just wanted what was best for me in the moment. And so 18, went to prison for the first time, did 16 months, and over the period of 18 to 2016, so from 2004 or 5 is the first time I went to prison until 2016 was my last time. I went in 6 times. And so accumulative time as an adult, accumulative time as a juvenile, in and out, being tossed around, DCFS coming in, and started getting tattoos, started getting a little bit of size to me. I was always like a real timid kid. And so I used all that as a deflection, now that I reflect on it, to try to get some status or whatever, my reputation, and people ain't gonna mess with me or whatever. And all that was a facade, because I still got my butt whipped at the end of the day sometimes, ain't nothing was lasting. And when I went to sleep at night on my pillow, I was the only one there, and I knew who I really was. But I still wake up and try all these jackets on. And that happened until 2016, 2011, to back up. I had another kid. Her name's America. First one, my oldest daughter's Kirsty. And had a kid, thought I would be ready, still wasn't ready. Went back to prison for my last time. And 2016, got out, caught another charge, terminated from it, and was getting in the county jail for a new charge, and somebody was going to a place called the Other Side Academy. And I was just wanting to do whatever it took to get out of jail. And he's like, yeah, man, all my charges will be gone if I complete this program. Yeah. And went to the Other Side Academy, stayed there 5.5 years with a break in between, because I didn't get what I needed. And so I had to go back and do some more, but accumulated 5.5 years. And it's a behavior therapeutic community. And they taught me who I was. Yeah. They told me what it was raw. there wasn't no sugarcoating nothing because I'm speaking to guys that are just like me.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over on them. And so it was uncomfortable. It was hard. And hearing about myself, I just slowly started changing because when you're in a safer environment and you're around certain people that are, and the integrity is high, you either adapt or you fall back.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just fall back and they leave. But something inside me wanted something different. And people seeing something in me that I knew that was there, but I just didn't want to make the effort to do the things necessary. I'm like, damn, if I'm gonna be here for this long, I might as well at least try it.
Yeah.
They would always tell me, you could just try it. Either you leave and go to prison and have someone tell you what to do, or you can stay here and be in this community in this nice place and wear your clothes and have us tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And maybe you change your life.
Right.
I ended up leaving after 2.5 years, was out for a period, caught another case and went back to finish it. And I did it right the second time. I think we always make mistakes, and through all that, you know, was ups and downs. And then I got hired on to play a small part in helping start the Other Side Village. And they help people who are chronically homeless. The Other Side Academy can't take people who have dual diagnosis. And so they have to turn those people away. There's no wraparound services, doctors and clinicians and stuff. And so helped play a small part in that. Traveled to London. My life was good. I had a job for the first time. I had a car for the first time. The insurance was in my name. I had an ID. I had a wallet that I keep in my pocket. All these things that I never had, that every time, all these years I spent in prison and jail, I would think, man, if I just had a job, just had this, if I just had that. They didn't hand it to me.
Yeah.
They showed me how to get there, and I got it. And it was in reach, all because of us creating a safe place for me and others to be able to figure out who we are.
Yeah.
And in that process, I just looked around. Someone told me this. He's like, look around, man, and start wearing different jackets. If you like the way Johnny talks, or if you like the way Johnny walks, or if you like what he does on his downtime, or whatever it is, and you like those things, start being like Johnny. Start being like so-and-so, whatever. And so that's what I started doing. I started being the smallest guy in the room. You know, my commitment at the Other Side Academy was to shed my reputation to build character. And when someone told me that, it hit me. I'm like, my whole life was built on, oh yeah, I'm Will, and I do this and I do that, or let me tell you a story here, let me tell you a story there. That never lasted. Yeah. And when someone asked me who I was, I didn't know. You know, I thought everything else made me. And so I just had to start from the ground up and started building bricks that were my foundation and just taking each thing step at a time. Diego Cortez, one of the staff members at the Other Side Academy, he said, you know, don't take the steps. Or don't take the elevator. You got to take the steps. If you take the elevator and think that everything's just going to be a cush ride, you're going to miss the necessary steps that you need to change your life. And I like that quote, and I phrase it often. And so did that, graduated, got hired on. My grandmother's health declined. She lives in St. George. She's 86. And I went down there, met a girl. She was down to, you know, fulfill my dreams and do all this. Went down there, made sure we had a job. Everything. I was so responsible at the time. And I lost that connection. Moving down south. When I went down there, I tore my ACL about 3 months later. Didn't work for a few months. Got a job working at Steps as a case manager. And then I started drinking, started slowly using, went to Paul Mitchell, graduated Paul Mitchell Hair School, thinking that when I'm older, I could use my license so I don't have to do laborious work. All these things, but slowly everything started deteriorating. And not long after that, I caught a DUI. You know, hit the county jail, and I'm like, something's missing in my life. So, I mean, why do I keep doing this? Yeah. Never been spiritual, never been anything like that or whatever. And so, I mean, I mean, I was raised in the church, things like that, but it never was who I was. It was just, I'd read the Bible and it was just gibberish. But I watched The Chosen, and that changed everything. Yeah. I'm like, he came for me. He came for us, right? And so, doing that and then watching these other apps and stuff like that, like all my overdoses and all my life near death experiences, why am I still here? Because when I got my DUI, I woke up in the back of the paramedics, not knowing what happened. Wow. And the guy he panicked, dialed 911. And the first thing that came to my mind is, why didn't he pull the keys out of the car? If he would have pulled the keys out of the car, I wouldn't be sitting in jail right now. That's the best thing that could have happened. Yeah. And I didn't realize that until I started getting spiritual and praying and asking God, I ain't going to ask you for nothing no more, but I need some help. Teach me. You know, I want this, I want that. Teach me how to get these things. My whole life I've just took and everything turned to ash. And so here I am today trying to share my story. And I'm sure you got several questions for me or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, from experience or whatever. There's a whole lot to pack
Yeah.
into my life, but there's a lot of good lessons.
Yeah.
And but today, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just grateful for doors that open to create space to be able to be self-reliant, and those that are doing so that empower me to be able to do it. Opportunity is huge
Yeah.
if somebody wants it.
Yeah.
And since I got out of the county jail, I've been running. I've been just trying to do it, just
Hmm.
doing whatever it takes. And so that's my mentality now. So that's kind of how I got here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing your story. And you definitely told it before, right? And it's powerful. I first I just want to say congratulations on where you've come. You've overcome some insane trials, right, in your life, and that self will and drive is there. And congrats on having that and keeping that and running with that, and amidst relapse or running into those same issues again, you've overcome those things, and you will continue to do that, which is awesome. So I hope that all the people I can meet can get the chance to meet you and hear your story, and overcome their own personal trials. What I want to jump into right now is just let's go back a little bit, right? You kind of outlined your life. I'd love to kind of highlight a few segments and kind of get your thoughts and feedback. One of the biggest things we like to do on this show, we like to give viewers the opportunity to kind of step into your shoes, right? And understand what your mindset was like and the trials and your vision was like, because 99% of the people out there have absolutely no idea what you went through, what you felt, and how actually hard it was to overcome those trials, right? And get to where you are. It sounds cool, right? It sounds awesome. It's cool to hear the story, but to actually put yourself in that shoe and realize, the barrier you have to overcome, like that's a different experience, right? So let's go back to kind of that. I can't remember. It was, in the kind of the 2000s to mid 2010s, you said you were kind of experiencing homelessness until you finally kind of, met the other side and kind of started doing those things. Let's go back to kind of that time period, right? You said you were in and out of prison. You had joined gangs, you were kind of running in that state, and I'm guessing you were also experiencing homelessness for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Throughout that time, the whole entire time,
Yeah, I mean,
outside of prison.
by choice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the same as anybody else. I just put myself because I didn't want to do nothing.
Yeah. So what was the day-to-day like for that?
Sometimes I couldn't even see 24 hours.
Yeah.
Whether it be doing whatever it takes, wherever I'm at with my backpack or whatever, hotel to hotel, sometimes staying over at people's houses, staying in the car, whatever that looked like. It was just getting up, looking for my next fix, for one, because I'm dope sick.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get that. And then after I get my dope, it's like, okay, I need a place to chill. Okay, now I gotta do some more crime and whatever it is, stealing, robbing, whatever the situation calls for. I gotta find a place to stay. And it was just it was exhausting. But at the same time, I say that and they're like, well, why don't you do something different? It kind of gave me something to do.
Mm-hmm.
You mean? In the lifestyle, and it's not like I'm hanging around people who are successful and stuff like that. And so you adapt to your environment.
Yeah.
And I just became accustomed to that. And I just lowered my values, put all that out the window. I didn't have any of that. And so I was just, you blow one way and I go.
Yeah.
And so anybody that had anything, do it. Taking advantage of women, staying at their houses, manipulating, lying, calling my family for money. I was just a leech at the time. But in the moment, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just trying to survive.
Yeah.
How dare you judge me? How dare this and that? I see a cop drive by and it's like, I gotta hide. Or when they stop me and ask me for my ID, I'm like, why are you guys bothering me?
Yeah.
Not realizing that there's communities, there's kids, there's schools, there's all these things that bad things happen. Well, I didn't think I was like those guys. The reason why you stopped me, I'm not one of those guys that you're looking for, thinking that I was different.
Yeah.
And so I got a bad taste in my mouth, and I just dove deeper and deeper and deeper. Sometimes there'd be times where I remember very vividly, my friend Jackie, she ended up going to treatment. I didn't have nowhere to stay at the time. She's like, yeah, you can stay at my mom's house, but I didn't want to, so I went and got in the car, and I was on the side of the frontage road off 90th South by the RSL Stadium. And I texted a friend, and I was like, I had a shot of heroin, and I was just so lonely at the time. I had people around me usually, but the lifestyle just was taking a toll on me. And I'm like, I told him, I said, I'm probably going to do the shot right now. I want to end my life. You know, things aren't really looking up for me. I don't have no purpose. And I remember sitting there and I almost went through with it.
Yeah.
I'm watching all these people go to this soccer game or whatever, and just poor me. I'm the victim. And something, I don't know what it was, but I just broke down. I started crying. I called my friend because they had other people texting and calling me and stuff. And I didn't do it. But that still didn't stop me. You know, I was still getting high. I just didn't do that big of a shot at the time.
Right.
And I mean, those are some situations. There was times where you know, I would OD and I wouldn't even notice it. I don't know. On the other podcast I did, they posted some pictures, and I got hit with six times with Narcan, and they was getting ready to go, and I just pop up. There was times where when I graduated the other side academy, the first time where I had that small period, I ended up using, and on the way to the hospital, we drove right by the academy. All these things you figured that would change me, but for some reason I felt like there's parts of me that I don't want to let go because it's so comfortable being in that environment. Like, these are my people. There's girls that I had a relationship with. There's friends that I thought I had strong relationships with. I can't leave them. They don't want me to go. You know, that it's just a toxic. Just a toxic, twisted way.
Yeah.
And so it's comfortable sometimes. It's really comfortable, and I didn't realize that until after I graduated the second time, and I started accumulating things and investing in myself. And I'm like, damn, there is something else out there.
Yeah.
Like, it blew me away. I'd sit back with my ex-wife, and I'd look, and I'd be like, this is us. Our house, the cars, all the things we're doing in travel. And I'm like, dang, man, I've been missing out on all this stuff. But in the moment of deep addiction and not having nowhere to go, your back's against the wall, I think the best thing that's ever happened to me was someone not enabling me.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's hard for family and stuff like that. My family, it was easy. They just say, hey, I ain't sending you no money on your books. No, I ain't giving you this. I ain't bailing you out. And I'd be pissed because she bailed my dad out of jail, my grandma.
Yeah.
But the best thing that happened was doors started just closing.
Yeah.
You know, I started feeling uncomfortable. People didn't want me around. They didn't know if their stuff was going to get taken. They didn't know if they was going to be safe. They didn't know whatever the situation. They didn't know if I was going to OD.
Yeah.
And that's I think the best thing that happened to me. And then every single cop that locked me up, and the judge gave me an opportunity to go to the other side academy. That's what I needed. I think that's what everybody needs. You know, and so it's a hard way to look at it, because in the moment you just like, they just need a warm bed.
Right.
They need more than a warm bed. I needed more than a warm bed. I needed to be cold and broken, and, you know, and looked at a certain way, you know, and told the realness of it. And there's just so many of those memories that I have that I ignored, but those are the ones I think back to now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So I want you to talk to a couple people. I think you just did. Let's talk one to the family and friends of people that know individuals in these situations. So you said that was the biggest thing for you is closing doors, right? What would you say to them? I'm sure, you know, you probably want them to have hope, right? And still, you know, think about that individual. But what would you say to them, the family members and the friends and those people that like you were in your life? If you had to go back and say something to them when you were going through that situation, what would you tell them to do or not do?
Yeah, you know, educate yourself. It's hard to educate yourself because when you do drugs, you have a different knowledge about it versus someone who's never done it. And so the dynamic changes or whatever. But definitely educate yourself and resource yourself. Get as much resources as you can. Get people who have been there and done it to be the ones to navigate the situation. You can be there right alongside them. It's good, I think, when you have support and you see that. And it's also good to say, hey, I'm not opening my door to you. I'm going to keep it locked. I'm not sending you money or whatever, but educate yourself and get resources. And there are a ton of them out there. The recovery community is so huge right now. Like, sober is the new thing.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of philosophy about the disease model, you know, and it's got a stigma towards just drug addiction. But the disease model can go for any person, any corporation, anything out there, because it's a behavior that you acquire to fill a void inside of you, and you seek out your self-worth in those things or whatever that is, a temporary fix, people, places, or things. If I have
Yeah.
a shoe addiction, my wife's pissed off because I got a shoe addiction and I think the shoes make me look good and I have to have these shoes in my wallet and my bank account. It's the same thing. It becomes a disease of me. That's what it was. And so yeah, educate yourself and just and there's tons of resources out there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the best medicine. It's the hardest one to probably swallow from what I've seen sitting in places and watching families come in and be like, I can't do that to them. And I feel it. I get it. To get that point across though is hard when it's probably your own kid.
Yeah.
You know, I think friends are a little bit maybe more different or whatever, but that, and then, you know, I think from my experience is when someone would try to tell me what to do that's never been there and done that, I didn't want to hear it, for one.
Yeah.
For two, they're only saying that off of their own bias of how they was raised.
Yep.
You know, and if they don't have any experience and really what to do, it kind of is watered down.
Yeah.
And so hold back, reframe yourself from telling them what to do and just guiding them, you know, to resources. So.
And you had mentioned that when you had gone to the other side, you met guys that were just like you. And you couldn't beat around the bush, right? You couldn't lie to them. You couldn't give them your excuses. What was that like?
It was shell shocking.
Yeah.
The integrity at the other side academy is high.
Yeah.
Their success rate, if you stay longer or whatever, is super high. Even though I was a statistic to not making it, because I've realized, but I think overall, I still feel like I'm a success rate.
You are, yeah.
If I pick up and I keep going.
Yeah.
But outside of all that, no sex scam. There's men and women living on campus. It's like 120 plus, 2 facilities. They got moving companies, a thrift store, a bodega, not a bodega, a grocery shop. They got a construction company. They got all these, and you're in the community. You're just living life.
Yeah.
Get up, brush your teeth, go to work. Don't have a bad attitude. Come back home, rinse, repeat. Plug in with the younger students when they get there. If you're older, whatever. And there's not been a dirty UA. All the UAs when AP&P shows up there for all their clients are all successful. And so when I got there, it was like I came right from the jail. And so there's a thing called holding each other accountable, passing information.
Yeah.
And so at the academy, when you sit down on the bench to do your intake, anything before the bench, they're like, don't talk about it. We don't care where you're from, who you know, or anything. And so when I got there, I was just like talking about, you know, hey man, what kind of music you like or whatever. And now we can't talk about that. And I'm all, and then so I picked up another conversation and I'll make it awkward because I felt stupid, right? Getting embarrassed or whatever. And boom, someone fires another shot at me. We can't talk about that. And I'm just like, damn, I should keep my mouth shut. And it didn't make sense at the time. I'm like, what do you mean? How's music have anything to do with it? Because it makes sense now. When we're so new to getting our life together, we're fragile. We don't know how to have decent conversations. My conversation turns into listening to Tupac to a certain day that I like, to how I got my nickname and the people that I read, and then all of a sudden the conversation's south. Yeah. We're war story and talking about things that that aren't necessary. And so they ask you don't do that. And so and then hearing some things after I've been there for a little bit, and then I think I got it and I'm climbing or whatever. When you're really high, you make mistakes, and when you're really low. And so whenever I was really high, it don't matter. They don't pull you in a room and say, hey, Mr. Bell, we can't do this. They do it right there on the floor in front of anybody. And so verbal reprimands, whatever it was like, and that's what I needed. Yeah. Nobody was going to talk to me like that. I'm itching. Like, how dare you? If we weren't here right now, well, yeah, if we weren't here right now, if I was going to do anything, I would have done it. You know what I mean? And so it's like I started being uncomfortable, and for the wrong reasons. I'm like, I did not like the way I'm being talked to. I did not like this, so I just did it just so I wouldn't be embarrassed. But after getting up and doing that so long and realizing that, man, 3 weeks later, I didn't even think about this situation no more. Yeah. And I got more days like that behind me. It just started becoming who I was. Yeah. Conversation started becoming more decent. War storying really isn't my thing no more, you know, and I don't like being in environments like that. If people do that, I usually try to channel the conversation or whatever, you know, and if they don't like it, then they can move different and I'll move away. Yeah. And it was uncomfortable. Yeah. It was uncomfortable, but what I needed, a lot of people, when you're fragile like that, it's going to break you or make you. At the end of the day, if you're willing to do whatever it takes and have faith and just trust the process, nothing should get in your way. Yeah. We were doing so much dirt out there, day in and day out, getting up, finding drugs, robbing people, trying to find a hotel, toting backpacks around, staying in the most craziest places with the craziest people. And it, it's unimaginable. It's
Yeah.
stuff you see on TV, right?
Yeah.
And if we were able to make it through all that and think that we're doing something and put all that work into it, and someone telling me what to do, I just say, okay now.
Yeah.
I have a bad day, I just say okay and move on. If I'm having a bad day, I just make it to my pillow. And it's like yesterday, I was having a bad day. Some things weren't going for some people that we were helping or whatever. And for some reason, I thought that had to do with if this person doesn't get the help he needs because I gave him the contact and referred him, then that's a reflection of who I am. And that itched at me. I think I always had things to work on. But at the end of the day, I made a phone call, had a conversation, went to a meeting, talked about it. It was a CODA meeting, a codependency meeting or whatever. And I felt codependent on this dude, right? Success.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, my conversations with the people that I surround myself with now is I did what I could.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with who I am as a person.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I'm probably gonna run into a situation. I'm gonna have to remind myself that. So
Yeah.
I think it's just a journey.
Yeah. Well, powerful. Yeah. I mean, it's cool hearing you talk about those things because I feel those things, right? I'm like, oh, this person's not making the choices that I'm trying to help them make, right? Or to help them, give them a resource to change their life or whatever, and they're not taking it. And that's a good reflection, I think, to take. And I'm learning a lot, right, from your story and your perspective.
And it's good to hear stuff from people who haven't lived the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because it applies to everybody.
Yeah.
Feelings are universal.
Totally.
No matter what color you are, where you're from, whatever it is. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because when you were saying that, man, I felt that, right?
Yeah.
I've empathized in that way. My follow-up question, the one I just asked, would just be, so we talked kind of like, what can you tell families and friends and people as individuals? What would you tell to people passing them on the street? What would you tell to people seeing homeless individuals, seeing someone panhandling, seeing someone struggling, seeing someone at the library? What would you say to those individuals, trying to make a difference or not trying to make a difference, and kind of how they should best view homelessness and addiction and those individuals out there on the streets, and what anything that you would tell them to do?
Just what I do now is I cut hair. So
Yeah.
I go down to the Coalition downtown in Provo. On Sundays, I wasn't able to go this Sunday because I left my hair clipper somewhere else.
Okay.
But I go down there and there are people come and gather food. Some are living on the side of the building or whatever. Some are just come from their camps and stuff. And I just sit down and off the jump, I don't go to resourcefulness. I kind of get a feel for them, sit them down in the chair, cut their hair. Or if I'm not cutting hair, I go have a conversation. Hey man, hopefully I see you next week.
Yeah.
Meet them next week, see if there's some consistency with them. And but when I just know when it's right when I'm like, hey man, do you want something different? Have you heard of this place? What's your story? Why are you here right now?
Yeah.
What have you done? What haven't you done? How motivated are you to change? When I was at the village, we would go into camps and do projects, and it's like they're all for it.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to go to detox. We'll have someone for your dog. And your girlfriend can't come, but we can definitely try to get her into a place because this is just males right now.
Yeah.
Turn it down. Turn it down. 2 minutes prior, they was willing to do whatever it takes.
Yep.
But when it comes down to it's not their time. They still got to exhaust some things or whatever. And so try to fill them out first and then meet them and whatnot. But I just, my biggest thing now, typically when I see them is I just want to let them know there's a lot out there. Share my story, bring some relativity to them and stuff like that. We had two people, which the situation was, as I explained a minute ago about my codependency on it is we did everything we could with good intent, got them rides, put things in their pocket, whatever it was, gave them a safe place to be. And these two people I thought were ready.
Yeah.
I still think they want something. They just don't know what change looks like, the process of it. And a lot of people don't. And so for those that are like trying to reach out to people, whatever, we got to be, it's best to be mindful that if you get a negative reaction, it's not because they don't want it. We just got to have several resources coming from different angles and explaining it differently or whatever. And sometimes it's mental health. Sometimes it's the drugs that are getting in the way. There's something blocking it, and we got to figure out that. And, you can only do so much. But they got to meet you halfway. Yeah. And so today, we got some responses to where, they want something. And because we ain't just going to give it to them, we turned out to be the bad guy. And that hurts. That doesn't make my cup full. It makes my cup full when I see someone be like, okay, yeah, I'm willing to do this.
Yeah.
Whatever they tell me to do, I'm going to do it. I'm like, okay, I open the door for you. And so it sucks. It's not their time. For anybody that's not their time, I can only feel for them. It's getting ready to be cold. And yeah, hopefully they get backed into a corner. They're just like, okay, I give up.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, they got to give up.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard the word a lot in addiction, like surrender, right?
Mhm.
And like that's a big word that you guys use, and that you have to just completely surrender your life,
Yeah.
right, to those things. Last thing I kind of want to talk about as we conclude, you've obviously overcome, huge mountains in doing that. And I just kind of like to jump into you and your drive, and how did you do that? You talked a lot about, hitting rock bottom and the people that helped, talk real to you and do those things, but you're in recovery now, right? You're on the other side, right? And moving forward in your life. What did it take internally? What does it take on a daily basis to do that?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, my higher power, when I think he finally saw that my heart's been softened and I was at a point, I think all the other times that I've, pretended I wanted to do something, he saw right through it. But, asking you shall receive.
Yeah.
If it's the right time. And first and foremost, it's him.
Yeah.
Whatever it is for somebody, it's when the time's right. So that's a lot of credit in my drive for that, because the way I view things is different than the way I view myself and what I want to do. And every day I'm going to work on making sure I keep that fire kindled. So, and then there's the people, places, and things, the ones that I surround myself with. Some people won't talk to me right now because of what I did.
Yeah.
And then there's my grandmother, who's 85 years old. She's a big part of it. She's always told me, you'll be taken care of. She ain't got nobody to help take care of her or whatever. My dad's down there right now, but his lifestyle isn't quite the best, So there's that part to where I've done so much hurt and destruction, and she's seen so much of her grandson, that I just want her to be able to go in peace and know that I'm gonna be okay. That holds weight for me.
Yeah.
And just the examples around me, man. I see people who are just like me, that I watch them on Facebook and TikTok and all this social media stuff. That's kind of what's influencing me, because I'm able to see what's out there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want that. And so I every single day I'm motivational videos. Eric Thomas. I surround myself with good people. Dad Bod. Stephen Solon, he is a principal out at a youth school in Mount Pleasant, and being connected with him, Whitney. There's so many people out there that I surround myself with that help create that environment, and it's like contagious. I had an opportunity to be a part of the Familia House. They're a sober living house for those people who are along and ready to actually get a job and kind of take the training wheels off or whatever. Great organization. It's fresh, it's beginning, and so I'm having an opportunity to be able to be a part of that, and hopefully I can play a small part, and it's just being relative to other people. And so that kind of what drives me, and the desire to want more.
Yeah.
And I've experienced, for the 20 seconds I had in my life where I was sober and doing things or whatever, those 20 seconds, 6 years, but in reality it's 20 seconds.
Right.
I saw something that's achievable, and I want that. I don't need a big car, or a nice car, a big house, a boat, all these things or whatever. I just want to be comfortable with where I'm at, because it's been so destructive. And so those things mean something to me, and helping people fills my cup. At the end of the day, service is where it's at. And so every time I get an opportunity to go be of service, whether it's setting things up, breaking things down, just giving some of my ear, doing a podcast or whatever, I try to grab onto those things, because that keeps me motivated. Because who doesn't like everybody? Oh, I don't want to go do a service project, but after you're done with the service project, you're like, damn, that was pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
every single time.
Yeah.
And so I push myself. If you want to be a beast, you got to do what beasts do.
Yeah.
And so a lot of, and then that, my word's starting to mean something to me. I had, before I came out, these two ladies from the RISE program, Sarah and Tiffany, I was talking about all these things I want to do. And they're like, prove it. And I'm like, man, how are these two ladies trying to tell me, okay, I'm going to show you. And so having people like that, my word means something. And I just want to, whatever I do here on earth, I don't want to be remembered as just a temporary. I want whatever I did for my daughters, for the people that are struggling to be able to look back on it. So hopefully I can do that, play a part in it.
I love it. I love it. Well, you are making a difference, and thank you for coming on and telling your story. I'll give you the chance just to give kind of a closing statement, right? What do you want to tell viewers and people out there hearing this story, thinking about homelessness? Maybe they want to make a difference or just want to, know more and educate themselves, like you suggested. What's your final word to them?
I think sharing, liking, sharing your story, whatever it looks like, it opens the doors for other people, because every single person I've talked to, that I've come across, there's always that situation where they say, man, what happened? It was either something or somebody that had a paradigm shift. And so the more that we can push things out there to everybody, the ripple effect that it has.
Yeah.
And so don't be afraid. Be bold. If you see me, hold me accountable. Ask me how I'm doing. I'll ask you how you're doing. And in numbers comes strength. And so and community is huge. When we take away numbers, we become less powerful to ourselves and others. And big shout out to Dad Bod, Familia House, and everybody out there that's doing work. The RISE program, really good organizations. Look them up. And I appreciate you coming out here. And you guys too, man. It's I was trying to say that last night. The Philanthropic
podcast. Yeah, that's right.
I was surprised, man. Getting a text message, and I was like, no way.
Yeah.
It's like, and that right there fills my cup. It's like somebody sees something, and I can be a vessel to be able to help spread the word.
Yes, sir.
And that fills my cup, man. So I appreciate it.
I love it. Well, thanks, Will. Thanks for coming and sharing your story. I'm excited for listeners to hear this. Again, tune into the Philanthropic podcast. We have weekly episodes. Thanks for listening to Will's story today. This episode and our podcast is sponsored by 5 Star Legacy Foundation. So thank you. Thank you to everyone that's been played a part in Will's story, and we will see everyone on the next podcast.
Love y'all.